Hola familia, it's your favorite Puerto Rican Brooklyn Philly, and I'm hearing let the ancestors speak. I just heard let the ancestors say amen, Amen, Ashe. But prior to turning on the camera, I kept hearing let the ancestors speak. And I was compelled to grab the ancestor deck, but they said grab this first. This is going to set the tone, the tenor, right? I'm doing this reading several hours before the American westernized version of the new year sets in. That's how they wanted me to say it, right? I don't know. I'm hearing very capitalistic, very consumeristic. That's why it fails for so many. This is a time of dormance, a time of rest, particularly if you're in the hemisphere where it's currently winter. Let me see, why am I? Oh, wow. Y'all seen that? I didn't even see that. Look, consumerism. That's what they want to speak about. Focuses on material wealth and neglects true happiness. Unending desire for more and satisfaction is elusive. Do I need another deck, another card from this deck, Spirit? One. Yes. They said yes. Oh, two fell out. Let's see. Mimic chess. Independence. Interesting. They said they wanted to speak at the bottom of the deck. Gambling. Okay. So this is it. Mimic chess. What seems valuable may hide danger, and images in your daily life may hide danger and images in your daily life serve as a reminder to guard against mimic chess. Beware of too good to be true offers and guard your heart against illusions of wealth. Independence, realizing the need for a change and striving for karmic justice. The path of solitude reveals truths unseen in the company of others. Interesting. 777, gambling. Bets on certain outcomes with little control over the result. Dreams of hitting the jackpot but often ends up with empty pockets. Feels trapped in a slot machine cycle and hopes for a lucky break. Sisyphus under the deck. Interesting. Like Sisyphus, endlessly pushing a boulder up the hill only for it to roll back down, making endless sacrifices for someone who doesn't appreciate it, a hopeless cycle of exertion and defeat. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And the deck capture, the camera is capturing that. Well, I said the ancestors wanted to speak. They told me to grab this to set the tenor in the tone, did they not? And this is the tenor in the tone. And as you heard me open up, I began to talk about they've been really talking to me about this concept of the new year, right? How it's celebrated not just in the United States but across the globe now. For most countries have adopted this I just heard Julius Caesar calendar, this Gregorian lifestyle calendar, where it no longer aligns with it's no longer in harmony. I'm hearing it no longer aligns with nature, the natural rhythms of life, right? Whatever that life is for you, right? So that's why I guess at first it had me speak about northern hemisphere, or whatever part of the hemisphere you are in, specifically if you're in one that has seasons, and particularly in the winter season where I'm at. I'm currently in, I went to say Philadelphia, but I'm Philadelphia, partnership in reverse. I said leave it that way. Power in reverse and gambling again upright. Interesting. Fast changes at the bottom of the deck. Now they want me to bring out the ancestors. They're saying pay attention to how they fell and where they fell. So consumerism, right? It neglects partnership. Mimic chess is really no power in that, right? It's false power. And gambling, right? Don't gamble your independence away, right? And when I'm hearing, when I just said that, is you're gambling your independence away when you tie yourself to this consumeristic ideologies, when you align yourself with, yeah, can you really eat money? No, you can't eat that shit, right? So why are you eating these principles, these ideologies, these systematic what spirit, there's these systems that are set up to have you gamble and risk, right? That have you consistently pushing a boulder up the hill only for it to roll back down on you, right? That has you endlessly making sacrifices for someone who doesn't appreciate it, meaning the system, right? The man, the job, the partner, whoever, right? It really doesn't allow for you to work on partnerships, right? To join forces with businesses for partners for win-win cooperation. No, it promotes a very individualistic, egotistical, false narrative, right? Even right now, as we speak, tomorrow, January 1st, so many people, and even tonight, already writing out New Year's resolutions that a week or 2 weeks later will fail, they will not go through with them, right? There's something about how do you expect your body, your mind, your natural rhythm to align with something that's not rhythmically aligned, right? So for example, if you're in the part of the world right now where it's winter, winter signifies, if you know, there is something about, cartography is that, you are connected to the soil, to the land that you walk on a daily basis. If you live in that region, you're connected to it. That region has a certain energy vibration. And if you're in that region, you're vibrating on that region's that landmass vibration. Is not just about what you do in your where you work and what you consume, literally eat. Consumerism is everything you're consuming, the air you're breathing, the soil you're walking on, the food you're putting, and the lack of nutrients or nutrients you're putting into your body, what you drink, the eyes and the ears are the windows to the soul. Everything that you consume is impacting you on a daily basis, energetically, vibrationally, physically, literally, is not just figuratively. Okay, Spirit, let me breathe. Okay. So if you're in a region right now where it is winter, why are you forcing your body to hype itself up, to go out and exert an energy that is now currently requiring where you're at right now to be in more of a hibernative state, in a state of more rest? Right? I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I'm under the weather, right? I gathered with friends and family on Christmas Eve, and as you do, right, when you gather with children, little kids, and their parents, right? I mean, there's germs, it's inevitable, right? So I caught a virus, a flu. But I don't think it's coincidence. I think it is an intentional, purposeful slowing down, right? When we want to, tend to want to rev up. And I've been consistently told by my spirit guides and spirit, I felt it, to slow down, to rest. This is a time to rest. In the region that I'm in, spring will spring forth around March. Then I will move forward. Now, the rest is not purposeless. The rest is very intentional, right? It is they reminded me that just like your phone needs to be recharged, or the gas in your car needs to be refueled, and without it, they'll both stop working on you. So will your body, so will your mind, right? If you really want to be creative, if you really want to put forth, if you really want win-win, if you really want to know what real power is about, look at that. Power. You have the power to take control of your life, career, and finances. Focus on your needs. How can you focus on your needs if you're being a mimic, if you're mimicking after somebody else's shit? Beware of too good to be true offers. Don't they do that to us every single year? Telling us you can have this body, you can do this, you can do that, make this New Year resolution, selling you all kinds of freaking machines and products and stuff to tighten, brighten, whiten, do some pull, tug, snag, do something. You're gambling with your life. You're gambling your independence away when you should be striving for your justice, your own internal justice. And it's interesting because I was crying out to Spirit about, right, this path of solitude. It don't always feel well. Although I truly understand now the difference between being lonely and alone, and I can appreciate being alone. But I confess, Lord, it's been a while now. I do I care for that companionship now, right? But I was reminded that this path of solitude reveals truths unseen in the company of others. There was so much truth that was revealed to me in this hermit mode that I've been in, right? Particularly about my sense of self-worth and value, right? Most importantly. And not to continue to be in this, right, wishing game where I'm trying to, dreams of these empty dreams and feeling trapped in an endless cycle like a mouse in a wheel, right? And constantly, and then Dito, look at the boulder he keeps pulling up is a heart, right? And then the heart isn't just about romantic relationships. I'm hearing whatever you invest your heart in, but you keep trying over and over again, knowing, that job is no longer for you. You're not respected there. It's not your passion. It's not really what you want to do. But yet you stay, keep pushing it up, thinking, whatever you're thinking. Or it just pays the bills or whatever. That relationship, that family member, right? That friend. Father of coins, right? Yeah, slow motion, baby, right? That's the Father of coins. This is the pentacles. This is the slowest one, right? We don't want that. We want quick results, right? Then we wonder why we don't have true partnerships. I want that nice burn slow now, right? I used to believe that too. And I had a person who I cared about so much, and I still do. I won't lie. But I remember in the beginning of our relationship, him warning about that. How when things start out so fast and passionate, they tend to burn out fast, right? But when you feel those butterflies and all that other stuff, you mistake it for so much and you want to just go, 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 go. And then understand that a lot of it is trauma bonding, codependence, anxious attachment, all those things that the path of solitude reveals in the unseen. Truths unseen in the company of others, right? Those truths have to be revealed. But there's something to be valued about that slow love, that slow work, that slow burn I'm hearing, right? You want to be healthy, it's going to take a while. You put junk in your body for 50 years, it's going to take you more than a couple of months for it to replenish itself and restore. Even though the body is a beautiful thing, it does restore pretty, once you start taking good care of it, on some Wolverine-ish, But nevertheless, it's still going to take time and effort and energy in the other direction. If you want to build muscle, you're going to have to take time. If you want to lose weight, it's going to take time. If you want to go back to school to learn, it's going to take time. If you want to make a career path, it's going to take time and investment and effort. Anything worth waiting, anything worth obtaining is going to take the time and the effort. We don't want that. We want the instant, right? Gratification, that microwave results. Even the microwave is some bullshit. I'm even staying away from the microwave now. Yeah, look, we want fast changes. Things that happen suddenly in a short period in a hurry, right? I was choom, so ready to go. Look at this, Ace of Baskets. Again, anything that's worth, right? This milk and honey, this sweetness, right? It's time in. It requires time in. That's what the ancestors are saying. You want that, it requires time in, right? It's possible. Son of Sticks. Page of Wands, it came out in the reverse. Page of, the Daughter of Baskets. Well, I usually just take the bottom card, but Son of Sticks, right? Again, the Page of Wands, he's fast, right? Look here, and he's showing you one hand and doing something with the other. Look at the snakes in the grass. They're saying, no, slow down, slow down, right? If we keep this daughter back, right, we don't want these slow down and refuse these pages of cups, right? Look. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Submissive, people pleasing. No. We don't want that. We don't want that. Right? Don't want those kind of relationships. Seven of Baskets in the reverse. Again, no more illusions. No more illusions, right? And this is usually, right, needing a bath, a cleanse, right, because of this illusion. But no more need for illusions. And definitely the luck of the draw. I heard. Is that the way you say it, Spirit? Right? Again, something about worrying about luck, gambling, betting on a certain thing, right? Oh, what am I going to get in the piece of the pie? Did I get the coin? Did I get the herbal tea? You said something. There's something about not relying on that or not making that your sole focus, right? There's something about saying no to this, right? This consumerism, has you looking at the hand with the 6 fingers and then doesn't let you see that up here I'm doing something else, some fuck shit, right? That's what gambling does. It traps you up. And I don't normally read these cards like this, but I'm just going with it. This is what I'm seeing, right? And they all came up in the reverse. Only thing that came out upright is if you want this and you want this, that requires time in. Anything else is some bullshit. It's some BS. Look at this. And typically the 5 of Knives in this, she has a bit in her mouth. She's being protected, right? I'm hearing Spirit is not protecting that shit. That type of mentality. Not protecting that no more. All want to come out reverse. Now, the reason why that's interesting for me is because I never take reversals. Never. I just don't. I don't like them. They tend to trip me out or whatever. But I'm going to go with it. Right? So, again, this bit in her mouth usually says, I can lie on the Bible and I'm protected. But Spirit is saying, I'm not protecting this foolishness. I'm not protecting this people-pleasing, delusional confusion state that then you just want to be cleansed away, wishing on luck BS. No, I'm not protecting that. Don't think that that's going to be covered. Not going forward. When you know better, you do better. No fuck boys. Yes. I just heard you want real love. I'm searching for the real. It's here. Come in. Now that I'm willing to give. That is open for you. Right? And again, time in. Then I can accept this. Then now I'm receptive to that. Right? There's something about valuing that. Right? Spirit had me earlier Oh, I can't go in my notes. It's in my Apple phone. Okay, let's see. Help me, Spirit, bring it by remembrance. So I thought of the Boston Tea Party, right? During the Boston Tea Party, it was no taxation without representation. But I thought about, I saw a TikTok from this gentleman, Big Bro, he calls himself Big Bro, and he was talking about how men want to get between your legs, but then don't want to invest, don't want to, invest the not just the well, this is my synopsis of it, the invest financially into you, and I went down that rabbit hole, right? Because you kind of, not kind of, as a woman, I've thought about that, right? And anytime you even kind of bring up anything remotely, then it's about, oh, are you a hoe or are you a gold digger? When it's neither, it's something called reciprocity, right? And then I dug even deeper. Well, then men push back on that. Well, what are you giving me? Like, what do you mean reciprocity? Well, the woman tends to invest more of the emotional investment in the relationship. Usually, if they live together, the household chores and responsibilities, figuring out a lot of the stuff where the men can kind of like opt in and out of that. Right? Not to only mention that, and it's not about making it male or female, because I'm not against a male. I'm very much a heterosexual woman. Nothing against LGBTQI or anything like that. All are welcomed here. Energy is energy. We all have masculine and feminine. It's just to make this point, the rabbit hole that I was going into earlier pertaining to, and specifically in the relationships that I have, as a heterosexual woman, and the confrontations that I've gotten from males when I've brought up this subject. But when we think of even the wage gap and the glass ceiling, it's still very prevalent even in 2025 for women. So there is already a systemic deficit, just systemically, in the world of finance in terms of wage gap, ceiling gap. So the systems in and of themselves are built against the women, right? In the deficit for them. So, my thing was, well, then I'm being taxed twice. So I'm being taxed by the system by not being equally represented in terms of wage, even though I have the degrees, because I have several degrees. But yet a man with the same degrees or even lesser degrees than me gets paid more than me, just for the mere man that he's a man. So then the glass ceiling, there's promotions that I can't get because I'm a woman. I'm overlooked for, right? Then you add in patriarchy and misogyny. So yes, I refuse that if I already, particularly as a woman of color, a Black Puerto Rican woman in the United States of America, am already dealing with all of these systemic deficits, I refuse to now, based on being alone and learning to be independent, and in those times of solitude, understanding my true self-worth, right? To sit there and say that now I'm going to be taxed at home with the partner I get with. So I'm being shorted by the systems already. And now as a partner, you want me to short myself with you in a relationship when all I'm asking for is a relationship that's reciprocal, right? I'm not saying 50-50, tick for tack. There's, the bottom line that in general, as it flows, is balance. There's harmony. There's equilibrium. There's never, it's never one-sided or on either end where one person is doing more. And again, when it comes to the emotional or even sometimes the household responsibilities, I have to ask you, typically my experience in relationships with heterosexual male, to listen to me emotionally. Whereas typically he never has to. I'm always open and receptive and ready to help and assist in those areas. Going through something at work, or you trying to finish a project, or in school, or dealing with his family or his children, whatever it may be. Whereas with I have to literally ask for that. Typically too, when it comes down to chores and responsibilities in the household. It is assumed that I do, decorate the bathroom once a month, just to give it, an example, do the decor of the comforters and the pillows. So all this pretty nice stuff and the little smelly good stuff, and, it's just automatically assumed. Yet I still go to work a 9 to 5 just like you do, and get paid less necessarily sometimes, and still have to deal with a lot of the stuff with the children. So it is uneven. Why should it be that way? Why can't I refuse that? Why shouldn't I have standards that say, no, bro, I already get that out there in the street as a black woman, a black Puerto Rican woman at that. You already know what the hell you go through out there as a black man. So we should be, at least when we come home, deal with each other equally and reciprocally. I don't know why I wanted to go into all of that, but this is what it's talking about. But if you're involved, I guess going back to into the consumerism, into what this world ideology tells you to follow, their Gregorian calendar that outlines all these quote unquote holy days and events and statutes and limits and dictates and, precepts that literally go against, you, your family, your partnerships, your well-being, both independently and individually for your own here, mind, body, soul, and spirit, as well as in partnership with your significant other, whether it be same sex or heterosexual, it doesn't matter. And the family that you call family and aren't establishing, you're gambling. You're always going to end up in this bullshit right here, pushing up a boulder that is always going to be rolling down. When is enough going to be enough? When do you take the reins of your life? And didn't it say that over here earlier? Don't you have the power? You have the power to take control of your life, career, and finances. Focus on your needs. And it's not an individualistic, egotistical, just focus on my needs. But it does help if I focus on my needs and you focus on your needs. And then when we come together, then we can really, work this thing out together. Because you ain't dumping your shit on me. I ain't dumping my shit on you. We're working this thing out together with the recognition that there are some gaps and there are some real systemic issues going on out there that might disjoint this thing from the get-go. So we're going to have to adjust and make up for that and adapt. I didn't make the rules. Shit, I mean, I can even say I didn't ask to be a woman. I was born and I'm a woman in a world that this is the world that I live in. And I'm not talking about thousands of years ago, currently today in 2025, entering 2026. At the bottom of the deck's paw, right? What are we teaching? What kind of, because the paw card, right? It talks about in the book, she does a phenomenal job, the woman, very knowledgeable, very learned. And she talks about how the males, well, first at the, a lot of the times we're used to cultures who look at the moon as feminine and the sun as masculine, but here the moon is looked at as masculine in this tradition. And they were talking about, as you can see his attire, you can see, and the hats that they have on, it was about the kind of like the organizations, fraternities. I mean, for lack of a better word, I don't remember the exact word used. I apologize. They saying you have the book. Grab the book. Let's respect. Respect is due to the tradition. Right? This is the Hoodoo Tarot. And but it talks about, I don't want to lose my point, what I heard the ancestors saying. What is passed down. That's what I heard. What do you want to, and the grandchildren card, but what do you want to pass down? Right? Particularly if we're talking about these societies that we live in and the conditions, again, So it says here the word moon has its origin in the Anglo-Saxon word mona, and it was associated with masculinity. In fact, this was also the case for the ancient Egyptians, Cherokee, Arabs, Bokobis, Inuits, Teutons, Latins, and many others. That may come as a surprise for many, as the moon has been associated with femininity in the Western mind for quite some time. The gendering of objects as one or the other is not right or wrong, but instead merely reflects a culture's perspective on the nature of things. For the majority of matriarchal Black Americans, the moon may be a fitting symbol for the patriarchs of our bloodline in its entirety for our grandfathers. The moon is illuminated by the light from the sun, yet there is always a side that remains occult or hidden from view. Similarly, it's common for people to know how much more regarding the inner and outer lives of women in their families than they do about the men. That's interesting. Though the moon appears to shine very brightly, sometimes it only reflects under 15% of the sun's light. It all depends on where the moon is on its journey, its phase, and the angles at which the sunlight hits it. Very interesting, just like a man, right? This is analogous to the tendency of men to conceal their feelings and to their desire to keep some aspects about what they've done or what they do private. The moon also has a direct impact on the minds of people in the earth ties. In other words, they essentially set the mood of the planet. The analogy here is obvious. As men are dominant in all affairs concerning law and order, it's also certainly no secret that the moods of most women are often dictated by what the men in their lives are doing or not doing. Most people are also more fearful of lunar associations than solar ones. It is during the night when the moon is out that we are forced to face the music after we have done something wrong. Similarly, many of us shudder at the thought of our Father being told about our naughty behavior and punishing us when he returned later that evening. So yeah, there was something, and Spirit brought it out when I was giving that analogy about I expect that fairness in the household, right? And I was even reminded of Chirac, right? Chirac, the movie, it was about the old Greek play, I think Lystra, but it was about, again, not saying that I need to punish men, but they're saying you can't have access to me without responsibility. There's a certain responsibility of having access to this intimacy and to this mothering, beautiful, feminine nature that I give, this unconditional love that I can provide. A grandfather and grandson are sitting on the steps of the front porch enjoying each other's company. The moon shines brightly above them. Grandpa has his Prince Hall regalia on, and his grandson is wearing a fez. This card reflects that Black American men were once the most populous members of various secret societies and fraternal orders in the United States. I knew it was fraternities. Okay, but there's something about that, right? About, again, even if you don't want to, because again, it was about you have the power, you direct how your career, your finances, but we cannot escape the fact that an overarching theme of the way these traditional roles tend to play out is already kind of the lay of the land, right? If we're talking back again about being mindful of the regions and the cartography and the land area that we live in and the seasons and all this stuff, right? What rhythm are we flowing with? So I can't negate, even if I'm in a relationship where we're both females, there's still this lay of this land when it comes to understanding that there's these systems in place that already have dictated the wage gap, the glass ceiling, patriarchy, misogyny, all kinds of stuff. Again, I didn't invent it. So it's with these things in mind that then when we come together, if we want fairness and partnership and true power, we have to critically think about these things I'm hearing. And not just buy into the BS and not just follow blindly. Any last words, Spirit? Yeah, I think that's the message, right? Going into, this 2026, these are some things to think about, right? How do you want to run your life? How do you want to live? Right? What kind of partnerships Are you establishing? What legacy do you want to leave behind? What power are you exerting or not? Are you gambling your life away? Are you going to follow the dictates and commands of everything and everybody else? Cuffing season. You know, that's crazy. We even have a name for that. December 25th. Look what it says. It's cuffing season, right? It's already a pattern that has been recognized and even has gone as far to become labeled. And is understood that during this cuffing season is only short term and it lasts until spring. Kind of like the New Year resolutions. It's short term. You know, are you cuffing your life? You know, fuck a relationship. I'm hearing Spirit say your life is a cuffing season. You treat your life as a cuffing season. When you operate from this modality, right? Mimicking shit. And not truly being independent, accountable, and striving for real justice. Trust the signs, follow guidance, trust the signs, paying attention to guidance, universe speaking clearly, following your intuition and your message receive. Fuck what this is telling you. Follow what your intuition is. Your body knows. Your body knows. You know what you need. You know intuitively already. And every time you go against it, you're gambling. You're being this. And it ain't fast. And it ain't from people pleasing. It ain't from, oh God, get me out of it this time. Foxhole prayers. It's hard work. And not hard work. God's Spirit said, run that back, run that back. It's just dedication and time and patience. And nurturing and love and receptivity, working together, right? To really obtain. I mean, it's inevitable. Where it goes, Spirit? Look at this, see? It's saying it's elusive. It'll hide on you if you don't pay attention. It said, but I'm right here. Spirit wants you to have this, right? And again, don't look at the genders or whatever, but even if it's just you, your masculine and your feminine, true love between the two. And it has to start there. This must be the foundation before it can go out anywhere else. Whether it's to your mama, your father, your children, your uncle, your pappy, your mammy, whatever. The true foundation is this. I'm hearing a threefold cord. It's not easily broken, right? That's right. You, and spirit, right? Your masculine and your feminine energies vibrating, aligning, loving, true love brings all the milk and honey, all the orgasms in the world, right? For life, a zest for life. And then for real union with whoever that is for you. There was something else. It's okay, Spirit. But it comes from within. You must trust within. And if you slow down, pay attention to detail, take your time, allow yourself to be receptive, allow for love, be nurturing and kind to self and others. It comes together. It's inevitable. You have to trust. Your body already came with everything and everything you need. The last card, Spirit. I'm hearing like you're the greatest computer in the world. Right? If you want to compare yourself to that, you have all the software, everything you need. Yeah. Important choices, life-changing decisions. Choose wisely. Your next step matters. That's it. That's it at the bottom. Yeah. Look, retirement goals. You know, what do you want to do? You're at a crossroads now. This is it. Right? But even at this crossroads, all it's telling you is not a bad thing. It's not doom and gloom. Right? It's saying trust the signs. You're at a crossroads right now in your life. That's a good thing, right? I'm here. I need to check in. I need to see what's going on. I want to choose wisely. I want to understand my next steps are going to matter, right? And not just because it's about to be New Year 2026. Just in life general, it's the little steps that lead to the big things. Nobody jumps from one thing to the air, right? That overnight success card is some bullshit. And again, typically, I mean, that's why we call them one-hit wonders and there's stuff like that, because it's instant and then it's fleeting. It's a very small percentage where that thing stays a longevity thing too. That's all I got to say about that. And retirement goals. Long-term stability, future plan, and relaxation earn living the dream. It's all good. You deserve this. Now, I'm going to tell you, too, you don't got to wait till you bald-headed and got grays on the side either. Right? You could start now planning. People retiring earlier, right? You should enjoy life. When I hear retirement goals, I'm not talking about waiting until I'm 65 or 70 to enjoy this life. That's some bullshit to me, too. That's back to that consumerism. I'm not doing that shit. I'm going to future plan, right? But I'm going to live the dream now. I can do both simultaneously. It doesn't have to be one or the other. But if I follow the Gregorian calendar, I'm going to stay broke, effed up in that mode and can't do both. The world is so much bigger. There's people called snowbirds that they go to warmer climates during the wintertime and then come back home. People work 6 months a year and then off 6 months of the year. People work from home. There's so many open opportunities. You don't have to be stuck to that consumerism wheel. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. Yeah, and that's it. That's the message. Yeah, I hope this helps someone. I hope you resonated with it. Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure. Yep, nope, they said that's it. It's that simple. Trust. The choice is always yours. You always have the power. Look at this. Do not deviate from your path. Attract a mentor if necessary. Plan where you want to be. Direction. New beginning. Nothing but winning. Alchemy, right? You're the perfect gift. Like, stop playing. Yeah. Okay. On that note, until next time, beloved, I, hope that this helped you, as I said, and, would love to see if you resonated, if you want to share anything in the comments. Would love to read them. And if not, until next time, Ashe, Amen, and Amen.